Rain, rain, go away. Go and come another day. Hi friend, good to see you again. If you haven't yet watched the first part of this video, I entreat you to watch that first. Then you can check this one out later to get a precise understanding of this topic. Since our last meeting, I guess it has been settled then. We both have our own thoughts and perceptions about money, simply because of how we have seen people, especially those closest to us, act around money, and also from our own experiences with money. And as obvious as it sounds, in the world we live in, there has always been a clear line between the haves and have-nots. Society has grouped us into high income or the wealthy, middle income or the quite comfortable, and then the low income or the poor. And as you already know, having so much money comes with its benefits, as well as the downside. As said in the first part, money comes with power, and having so much allows you to use the power of money. But at the same time, you can have so much and still be miserable. Now that I have your attention, you ask yourself, what really is money? How do I make money? How do I use the power of money? And how can I have money and still be happy? Join me as we discuss the untold truths about money. Part 2. Money, whether a sheet of paper, a shiny rock, rare shells, spices, or rice, is something that everyone has agreed to as being worthy of use as a medium of exchange, a measure of value, or as a means of payment. Now look into your purse, your wallet, or wherever you keep your money in. What do you see? Yeah, it is exactly that. In our world, everyone has agreed that an officially coined or stamped metal in some form of printed paper is our means of exchange. And what you are looking at determines your wealth, and it sure does make the world go round. Money was created because of several factors, but mostly as a means of trading. Let's face it, money makes buying and selling easier. Once you have money, you can get most of what you want. Say you have a new business, and you need to get some inventory. Think of how much easy money makes it for you to pay and receive your items. Or let's say you want to shop online, or you go to a grocery shop and you need to get something for yourself. Money makes that easy too, because instead of measuring to see if the amount of barter tallies with the quantity of items you want, now you can just simply walk up to the counter with what you need and just exchange it with money. No stress. Another reason why money was invented was because we needed a proper means of exchange to be able to run our social life. Think about it. When you need to throw a party, bail out someone, pay a fine or your taxes, what makes it easier? Yes, right, money. Same with buying gifts for others, going to the club and going on vacation. Money makes that much easier and faster. The least you would think of is its religious aspect. Yes, money was also created because of religion. According to Bernard Lehman, money's origin can be traced back to the Eastern temples, where it was prescribed as a sacrifice to the gods and payment to the priests. That is no surprise at all. At the time, money existed as gold and silver, and they were presented to the priests, and also as an offering to the gods together with other valuable commodities. Over time, the temple amassed large amounts of gold and silver. Lohman's theory is supported by the amount of gold and silver that was seized by Alexander the Great from the Eastern Temple in 330 BC. Anyway, what we use to buy and sell has value because you accept it as a means of exchange. And yeah, of course I do too. Plus, the government agrees that not only can it be used as a means of exchange, but also as payment for our taxes. And so, this builds up what everyone can accept as a characteristic of our currency. Money, no matter how you perceive it, serves as a means of payment and as a unit of account, making money a very valuable aspect of our daily lives. Money creates the law. It may not be tangible wealth itself, but a means of power. That's what money is. Money can symbolize wealth. It's an abstract social power based in law. It's what the government accepts as tax. It's the medium of exchange which is legally enforced by every existing government. That is what gives money power. Money is power. That is why most people want to make more money. The more money you have, the more power you have. That's why money runs our world. Money has become a common resource. As human, you need water, food, and a roof over your head in order to be able to survive. And that is exactly where money comes in. Unless you want to live in the middle of nowhere. In this modern world, money is what makes it possible for you to have these needs as a human. Maybe money did not have so much worth in the times where you could easily find food and clean water, and humans were mostly living in caves. But this is where the world has evolved to. There is no going back, my friend. And that's why you need money. No money means less power. But the thing is, money exists as law and not by nature. This is the nature of money. It exists as a legal invention created by the law. In Greek, money is referred to as nomisma, which originates from nomos, which means law or a binding custom. And according to Aristotle, money is the abstract legal power which is publicly controlled for a common good. Or is it? You tell me. You have probably heard of the saying, little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. The same goes for money. Little by little you can accumulate wealth. But before you begin, what does wealth mean to you? Yeah, I'm still talking to you. Are you still there? Are you paying attention? Like most people, you might be thinking that wealth is defined by the number of properties in your possession. And though you may be right, wealth in itself is the amount of assets you have compared to your debt. And mind you, everyone has a debt, one way or the other. You think you don't? Look closely. Perhaps you do not come from a wealthy background. You do not personally have a relationship with any wealthy person, or it is difficult for you to make ends meet, and so to you, the idea of wealth seems too far-fetched. But there is one thing you are forgetting. The thing about money is this: no matter how old you are, where you work, or even the amount of income you earn, you can be able to build your wealth. Let me repeat that again if you didn't hear me the first time. I said no matter how old you are, where you work, or even the amount of income you earn, you can be able to build your wealth. Perhaps you just graduated from college and you just landed yourself in your dream job. Or perhaps you went through school not knowing exactly what you want to do or what you are even doing with your life. But you still managed to get yourself into a job. Or maybe you are already a worker, but you need more money because there are so many things you want to do and so many places you want to vacation, but you have no money. Growing up, maybe you envisioned yourself to be working, and you probably thought that was it. You thought once you got a job, you will eventually become wealthy, or probably afford all you want. But here you are, suddenly realizing that it was all a lie. It is called life. It just hit you like a train. But it's all right, you'll be fine. Anyway, if your job isn't enough to make you wealthy, or make you have it all, how then can you make more money and make your dream of building wealth a reality? Stay with me. The first way you can increase your wealth is to open up a business. Listen, one of the fastest ways to make more money is when you sell something. Look at the people around you. Everyone is constantly buying something. You perhaps buy something each week, or is it every 2 weeks? Once there is money, you will buy something, even when you do not want to. And surprise, but no surprise, the wealthiest people in the world are mostly not employees, but rather the employers. I know we can all not be employers, but that's just a food for thought. Entrepreneurship done in the right way increases wealth. When you start a business, you're eventually able to fulfill two aspects of wealth building, which is income and high returns on accumulated wealth. What does this mean? If you have a business which you started with $50, and at the end of the day, you are able to turn it into $100, you realize you have not only increased your income, but now you can use the same amount and make more money. And so, that little amount gradually increases over time. Remember what I said earlier? Little drops of water? That's right. You might be thinking you need to go big to make it big, but it might surprise you that many of the businesses you see out there started very little. And so can you. I believe in you even if you don't believe in yourself. You just need to take a leap of faith. You do not necessarily need to have a huge capital or asset to be able to start a business. You can start little and eventually hire a few people over time until your business really grows. So if you have any ideas, go for it. You'd be surprised what awaits you on the other side. And oh, maybe you really don't have any ideas. Don't worry, you are definitely good at something. Maybe you make the best donuts. You can start by trying to sell your donut as a side job. You can even start online little by little, and with persistence and perseverance, in no time, you will amass wealth. But the truth is, not everyone can own a business. If everyone were to start their own business, there will be barely enough people to work for businesses to grow. Business owners need people to work for them. If you are not the type to be able to start a business, well, don't fret. There are other ways you could grow your wealth. According to the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics, taking up high-paying jobs really helps. When you take up an occupation in some professional field such as being a physician, a manager, a nurse, or an engineer, you could be making at least $80K per year, and with proper management of your income, you could actually live comfortably enough or even grow your wealth. But then again, I'm not trying to discourage you, but it is not very easy to land these highly paying professions. It is very expensive and involves you dedicating a lot of your time to go through school, understand and complete the coursework. And even with all your hard work, it will take time before you actually start to receive that much. Not only that, for most people, before they even start to go through school and learn to get into these professions, they would have to do it in debt, such as taking student loan. So to make it easier to be able to build your wealth in these professions, it would be very necessary to not be having too much debt. Not all debt is bad, but owing too much decreases your chances of ever really being able to afford building wealth. Another way, which is much common in every country, is having a side hustle. Hear me out. Whether you have a job or not, whether your job pays well or not, you can always have a side hustle to make extra cash because, come on, you cannot really rely on only your actual job to live comfortably. Well, maybe not you. Not only will your side job serve as a cushion for you to land on in case you lose your job, but it can also increase your income, especially if your hustle is really successful. Your side hustle cannot be just another stress just because you need more money. You can just turn your hobbies into your side job, which will be more fun. The internet has made everything easier these days, and so you can just go home after work, relax, and just work online. Some side hustles you could take up is being a virtual assistant, working as a freelance writer or editor, copywriter, online tutor, a life coach, a consultant, a web designer, an app developer, and so much more. With the internet, there is limitless opportunities. You just have to do your research. If you do not like to be online so much, you could do other things such as turning yourself into a part-time professor at a local college, being a part-time gym instructor, becoming a mystery shopper, which would definitely be fun if you love shopping, or even running a delivery service. Did you also know that you could increase your wealth by improving your skill set? The world is always evolving. Things are not done the same anymore. And so when you improve yourself alongside the changes to the environment, you could increase your wealth. As the world changes, you change too. You don't want to be stuck in the 20th century. Think about it. In the past, there were typewriters. So if in the past and you were a secretary using the typewriter, what you would realize is that once the personal computers emerged, your income reduced. Why, you ask? Because people preferred to use the personal computers to the typewriters because they were faster. To increase your income, you could learn to use the computer. And once you do, you could get more income or even be hired by an organization and get a better pay. If you are in other professions like teaching, one way you could increase your income is to getting a degree, an MBA, or a special designation, which could help you to get a promotion, which of course comes with a higher pay. And oh, everything is AI these days. Learn to use it to your advantage. Learn automation. It shouldn't be that hard. Everything is on the internet these days. You're just one click away. When you were little, your parent or guardian got you a piggy bank. Your friends probably had one too, and every time you came back from school or from hanging out somewhere, you put your leftover money into the piggy bank. With time, you realized that the money became more and more, and with that, you probably bought gifts for your friend or the stuff you needed. That was your first rodeo into lesson of saving. Now, if you have forgotten, why don't you pick up a good habit like that? That money you saved is how you learned the first rule of money. You save today, you have money tomorrow. You may be thinking that you only live once, and so you do not need to save. Instead, you would rather spend all you have because tomorrow is never promised. You could be right, but then again, saving is the building block of creating wealth. You could have a side hustle, your own business, or even a high-paying job. But the thing is, if you do not save, you would have nothing in future and would have to settle with the dust. Maybe you can hardly make ends meet and you always live paycheck to paycheck, or maybe you have enough, but you cannot save because you have a lot of needs and wants. But then again, just like you are able to finish your tasks on time because you have a schedule, The same applies to money. Once you have a plan, which is the budget, it would be easier for you to save. A budget represents the plans you make regarding money, with all your expenditure per your income. And not just that. When you are able to make a good budget, you will be able to notice all your unnecessary spending patterns and cut back on them to be able to save. But then, what makes a budget a good one? Truly, you cannot plan out your budget for 5 years because it would be highly unrealistic. Instead, you could create a budget on a monthly basis. That way, it will be easier to navigate your spending patterns and save a lot more. One of the most effective budgeting techniques you can adopt is the 50-30-20 rule. With this method, you will be able to allot 50% of your income to your basic needs such as food, water, and shelter. Allocate 30% of your income to other things such as shopping, and then save the remaining 20%. With this, you would be able to do all you want to do and still be able to save. You can also build an emergency fund. Building an emergency fund does not mean that you are hoping that something bad happens. Neither does it mean you are anticipating an unfortunate event. But rather, it is to serve as a safe house should such circumstances arise. Now imagine you have no savings or no extra income, and then all of a sudden, boom, you get into an accident. You need an operation, but then the insurance does not cover it. Now what are you going to do? You are probably thinking that you would just borrow. But borrowing would just put you in debt. And will it be easy to find an institution to lend the amount of money you need? You should know that once you incur more debt, your wealth begins to diminish. And as if it is not bad enough, you would have to pay interest on the debt. And when you end up selling your investment because of your situation, you lose all the capital and interest you could have earned. Well, that is where emergency funds come in. Emergency funds serves as your backup money and prepare you for unforeseeable circumstances that could disrupt your wealth-building process. You have been told that you need to live within your means. But what if I told you that to build wealth, you may need to live below your means? As you already know, not budgeting and overspending can negatively affect your need to build wealth. To build your net worth, you may have to resort to some measures such as living below your means. This does not mean that you need to be stingy with yourself. This only means that you can get to save more by avoiding eating out all the time, buying designer clothes, following fashion trends, and taking excessive vacations. By cutting back on some things that are not that necessary for survival, your future self will thank you. And always remember, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Now that you have learned about putting money aside for the future, the next thing you can do to increase your wealth is to invest. Once you invest your money in time, you get more money in return. One way to invest your money is through the stock market. You do this by buying company shares. By buying shares in a company, you become a shareholder of that company, which means you own a little bit of that company. You should bear in mind that stocks increase your wealth, and so you must be sure that you are buying through a transparent and risk-free form of investment, such as the exchange-traded funds. There are others such as the ETFs, which helps investors to evade high fees and taxes, and also allows you to be able to diversify your equities. And in that way, you, as an investor, can focus your investments on your specifications, such as emerging markets or the developing markets. I am sure that you have heard that stocks could be very risky, because when the company makes a loss, you take a hit. But then again, stocks have a good return on investment. And when you have a well-informed diversification strategy, you would be able to lower the risks and maximize your profit. You just need to put in the work and do your own research. Another investment which is very profitable is venturing into real estate. It sounds a bit scary, but hang in there. This will give you the chance of profiting from the real estate industry without being directly involved in the business. You can try investing in companies that buy and sell properties or those that engage in mortgages. With this strategy, even though you do not directly work with them because of your investments, once the company's value increases, you also gain more. There is also a thing called the 401k. This is a contribution you make towards your retirement. Saving for your retirement is important at any age because when you retire, you would have no job, but you still need to survive and live comfortably. When you have such an account, you can decide to put a percentage of your income aside by signing up for automatic deductions. Your employer can also match your contributions, and in no time, you would be able to build wealth. There are other options too, like the Roth IRA, which is an individual retirement account that allows for tax-free withdrawals as long as you are able to meet certain conditions. The interesting thing about the Roth IRA is that you fund after-tax dollars, unlike the traditional one where you fund pre-tax dollars. Money can make or break you. It is all about how you handle it. As you strive to gain money, you would realize that the efforts you put in may cause you physical and emotional damage, and in some essence, cause you to cut out people close to you. That is how much harm the desire for money can cause. But then you realize that being wealthy doesn't mean that you should pile up money and not use it. To be truly happy, you need to use money. What you will realize is that money has power, and the way you use it impacts your health, wealth, and happiness. I repeat, the way you use money will impact your health, wealth, and happiness. As mentioned before, money represents many things. It is the means of exchange. It is a reflection of your life. It creates wealth. It shows how you make judgment about others and yourself. It carries your purpose and values. It helps you fulfill your desires. It tells how you use your time. It gives you comfort. It keeps your integrity. And most of all, money tests you. And so, to learn from money and wield the power that comes with money, and to make it your greatest strength and not your weakness, and also to not lose control of your money, you must consider the roles that money plays in your life and find the ones that greatly influence your life. Once you know this, you can go on ahead to balance the relationship you have with money and those around you, so it does not conflict with your surroundings. Just as said earlier, you can track your earnings and your spending patterns, your assets and your liabilities, and in this way, you would be able to have financial clarity, and in so doing, free yourself from anxiety and stress. After this, you can go on ahead to learn how money works and understand your current position and how money influences everything around you. Once you understand this, it would be easier for you to not let money control you, but rather, you control money. Again, you should always remember that to properly use money, you must talk to others about it. Do not keep the troubles of money to yourself. It is important to lift the burdens of your money worries and speak up about it to those closest to you or even counselors, because your life, aspirations, values, meaning, and ethics speaks a lot about how you feel about money and what money does to you. Now the final take, how to be rich and remain happy. You have heard that money cannot buy happiness, and you have heard that having money does not mean that you will be happy. While this is true, there are ways in which you can be wealthy and happy. We are humans. We always want more. And so being wealthy does not mean that you would not envy others. Inasmuch as envy is a human nature, it is important to find satisfaction with what you have and where you are in life, so envy does not rob you of your happiness. Comparison is a thief of joy, as Theodore Roosevelt said. You can do this by focusing on what is most important to you, especially the non-material things. Also, to be truly happy while wealthy, it is important to be with and around the people you love. You can also try and spend on experiences instead of things. A wise man once said, "Memories last for a lifetime." And with having so much, donating and giving to the less fortunate than you is not only making them happy, but rather the more you give, the happier you become. You can also volunteer your time and expertise to help others, and this, my friend, is the way to truly be happy. This is the truth. This is happiness. This is the way. As you journey on your path to wealth, it is important to harness the rules of money, what money is, and how to be truly happy after you have gained it all. Building wealth is not difficult, nor is it that easy, but with dedication and discipline, you would be able to grow your wealth. And after you have gained your power over money, you can ask yourself this again: am I truly happy? And if the answer is no, you know where to come for inspiration. And if you are ever down in life, remember that you are not alone. Hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed and learned something in this video. You could also share it with a friend. It really does help the channel grow. My name is Audio Boy Manny, and until next time, Cheers.